Beautiful. Let's go. And then my main man, Darsh, who is not only the CEO and founder of Astrology.AI and Pledge.AI, which many of you know. He was one of the OGs and team leaders and person that crushes everything he absolutely touches on Deal.AI as well. And one of the best friggin' teachers on the face of the planet when it comes to all of this stuff, and has helped countless people launch their white labels successfully. And I mean, I could dive down the rabbit hole of how badass Darsh is, not to mention just one of the best friggin' people to work with. So, without further ado, my main man Darsh, are you ready to rock and roll this day, sir?
Thank you, Terry. Yes, sir, I am. Hi, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, man. Gotta live up to that reputation now. You just kind of pumped it up. I'll try. I'll try my level best. I'll try my level best. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. I was just looking at the chat. Yeah, you're from all over the world. Few ground rules. Like, let me understand. What is your understanding of a boot camp? What do you understand of a boot camp? What is it? If not, I'll share what my understanding of the bootcamp is. Workshop, secret, no, hands-on. Okay. Let's use the good old Google. Okay. Let me share my screen what Google says. What is a bootcamp? So a bootcamp is a short, intensive training program that focuses on a specific topic or skill. Okay. So the keywords here are intensive training program, which means if you're left behind, you will have to catch up with the rest of the people over a period of time. And how can that happen? We have daily calls at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. You can reach out to support team. We can send you the link. You can join those calls and finish whatever was pending. Okay, so that's one. Second, I'm gonna be muting everyone, and I'll also stop the chat because I understand you may have questions, you may have comments to make, but I will give you your chance. Okay. What happens is when you're typing, you're not listening to what I'm saying. And when you send your message, everybody else that's on the program, they go and read what you've written, and then they miss out on what I'm saying. And that's how you fall behind, right? So I'm gonna just take that control, being your instructor of the bootcamp. I'm gonna play that role well. So I'm gonna mute everyone so you cannot unmute yourself. I'll give you your chance. And also the chat as well, okay? Another thing, I sent a document which was a checklist basically, which required you to do certain things, which required you to sign up for certain things. I'm not sure if you've gone through it or not. If you have not, then you may fall behind. But if you do, there is support available at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday. But because it's a support, it's not the end-to-end boot camp. So use it as a support only. Don't use it as something that you can go and clarify any and every topic that we're going to talk about today. All right, so the first session is going to be about domains. How do you really set up domains? How do you really connect it to your page? How do you really connect a subdomain with your white label? If you have bought the domain from Deal.AI or Pledge.ai, you do not have to attend this session. Okay, this you can either go on a break or watch something on Netflix, whatever you want to do, because that thing is just one click, and your things get set up. Like your domain get connected to your page, your domain subdomain gets connected to your white label. So if you have domain that you bought from Deal.ai and you bought from Pledge.ai, you do not have to pay attention to this particular session. If you do not have a domain, I would recommend you, because you will not be able to proceed further. Okay. So you would need a domain, and I would highly recommend you buy it from Deal.ai, not because you are on Deal.ai's bootcamp, but because of the first reason that it's just one click setup that's required. Second, some of the domains are in fact cheaper than the market. Now, again, repeating myself, if you have bought the domain in the last few minutes, or if you've had the domain in the past from Deal or Pledge, next 1 hour is not for you. You can skip it. Okay. because it's just simple one click and everything will be done for you within Deal.AI. Now, what is domain and why do we need it? Like, what is the kind of setup that we're going to do? So I'm going to show you the infrastructure. And this is only applicable if you have bought a domain externally. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay. So you have a domain, external domain, and you have your landing page, funnel, whatever you want to call it, in deal or pledge, and you have a login page for your white label, right? So you have one page, which is your landing page, where people, like, for example, when you come on to Deal.AI, for instance, this, right? If you have this, when you come to Deal.AI, this is your landing page, right? And then you have, when you click on login, let me show you here, Deal.AI. And when I click on login, it takes me to the login screen, right? So you have two things. And if you see on the top, it's Deal.AI here on your main page. And if I click on login, it changes to app.deal.ai, right? So, which means these are two different links, okay? Deal.ai brings you here, app.deal.ai brings you here. Now, app dot, which is preceding Deal.ai, is a subdomain. I'm going to talk about it, okay? We'll talk about it, but just wanted to show you these are two different domains. So you have a domain, which is called, let's say, yourdomain.com. You will need you'll need a subdomain. It doesn't cost anything to create a subdomain. It's the same, it's part of your main domain. That we'll call that as app.yourdomain.com. Okay, whatever your domain is, just add app. We'll add app in front of it. So I'm not showing you the process. I'm showing you what we're going to do. Then I'll show you the process. So wait for some time, okay? What we're going to do is, and because you have a domain which is external to Deal.ai, your main domain is going to get connected to your main page, your landing page, and your subdomain is going to get connected to your white label login screen. Okay, this is what we will do. So to do this, we have to tell your domain provider that there is Deal.ai or Pledge.ai, whatever platform you are on, wherever you bought the domain from. There is this platform that exists, and we will be using the domain for the pages and the white label that is created here. So we have to connect these two as well. Okay, we have to connect these two in both ways. We have to tell Deal or Pledge and your domain provider that both of these entities exist. So how do you really do that? Okay, now there are hundreds of domains providers out there, if not thousands. There are so many, websites that you can buy the domains from. You've got GoDaddy, Namecheap, Ionis, and so many more. So if you've bought the domain from others, I do not know the interface, how each and every interface looks like, but essentially adding the details in every domain provider, it's very similar. So I have an external domain, which is from GoDaddy. So I'm going to show you that as to how do you really add records to that. So I'm in my GoDaddy account right now. Okay. Now look at the screen. I'm going to do this process twice. Look at the screen, what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it very slow. And if you are not on GoDaddy and your domain is from some other service provider, you have to find for something similar that I'm doing here. What you have to do is you have to find for DNS settings. DNS settings, you have to click on Manage DNS settings or DNS settings, something like that. It should be related to DNS. So for GoDaddy, you click on your name here on the top, wherever your profile is, and click on My Products. This is for GoDaddy only. For Namecheap, it could be different. For Ionis, it could be different. For if you bought the domain from somebody else, it could be different. So you'll see your domains here, okay? And you click on the one that you want to configure. Click on that, and under domain, it's going to give you an option to manage DNS. Okay? I'm going to do this one more time. When you log into GoDaddy, go to your products. You'll see a screen like this. Click on the domain that you want to set up. Click on domain. Click on manage DNS. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to do this process. Wherever you bought the domain from, you have to look for DNS records. You have to look for section where you can manage your DNS. That's what you have to look for. Okay, DNS record. I'm going to give you like 5 minutes and then we'll proceed further. I'm going to unblock the chat in the meantime. Yeah. Chat is unblocked in case if you want to say anything. John, if you have domain from Deal.AI, just relax. For next 1 hour, this session is not applicable for you. Because the domain from Deal.AI, all of this thing that we're going to do here for the next 1 hour at least, that can be done in just one click. Okay, so no, Shannon, for next 1 hour, you can skip the bootcamp. Okay, 4 more minutes, and then we'll proceed. You should be on a page that allows you to add a new record, okay? So you should be able to add a new record. That's what you should be able to do. I have both DNS and dynamic DNS. Yeah, a lot of you should be able to add new record. John, I don't know what you mean by delete web builder. Anybody who needs more time, or can we move? Oh yeah, John, you would not need that. Okay, Raymond. I have a list to choose from, a host. Which one do you choose? Yeah, so Jim, I'm gonna come on to that. Like, I'll share what needs to be done. If you are at the point where you are able to add the DNS records, you're good. Okay, there are some people that I'm getting direct messages from that they need some more time, so I'm gonna wait. Yes, Corey, we're pointing the domain. Okay, I'm gonna give 3 more minutes, Raymond, and to anyone else who's figuring out where to go. Okay. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. I think I'm not getting any messages from anybody else that they need more time, so we are ready to move forward. I'm stopping the chat once again. Okay. Oh, that's okay. No worries. Okay, Daniel. So if you look at your question, we're not at emails right now. You're looking at We're just looking at setting up records in DNS. So I'm just going to block the chat till the next time. Okay. Now, click on add new record. Look at the process first and then do it by yourself. I'll do it twice. Click on add new record and type and choose a type as a record. Okay. And under name, type @. And under value, put this value. I'm going to put all of this in the chat so that you can copy and paste. Type is a, name is @, and value is this number. You've got to copy that number and paste it as is. I put that in the chat. You don't have to look at the screen and type it manually, copy paste so that there's no chance of committing a mistake. Okay. In fact, I'm going to stop the share so that you're not looking at the screen. Just do what you see in the chat. Okay, just use those values. I'm going to stop the screen for a second. Okay, I'm going to start sharing my screen. I hope you've done this process and we'll move forward. Okay, type a, name, @ and value this number. Okay, now click on save and it should appear here like this. If you have additional security in your external domain provider, they may send you text message with one-time password. Put that in so that your record gets added. Okay. Don't worry about TTL. If I'm not talking about something, don't worry about it. Okay. So don't worry about TTL. Just hit save and it'll appear here like this. Okay. Second step, add new record again. Click on add new record again and select CNAME. And under name, type app, APP. Okay. And under value, type this. I'm going to show you what exactly. Let me pull that exact thing so that there's no confusion at all. I can give you the exact value. Give me 1 second. It's going to be whitelabel.deal.ai. I'm going to show you my screen once again. Give me 1 second. Here it will be whitelabel.deal.ai. I'm going to put those values in the chat once again. Okay. So type CNAME. Name is app. Value is whitelabel.deal.ai. Okay. Again, don't worry about TTL. Hit save. Add that record. If you already have a CNAME with app in it, it will not allow you to do that. So you'll have to delete that record and add this one. But what will happen is if that subdomain is pointing somewhere else, you will not be able to access that anymore. Okay. So in that case, either use apps as an alternative so that you don't end up missing out on what you already have set up. Okay. CNAME app whitelabel.deal.ai. And just stepping back for a second, if you already had an A-type record pointing somewhere else, and if you do this, then your existing website will not be accessible if you have used your A-type record already somewhere else. So it's like you're giving the address, you're telling where should this domain go to show you which website should be shown when this domain is typed, right? So it's like address. One address, you cannot have two homes with the same address. With one address, you can only have one home. So with one domain, you can only have one website, right? So if you have another website, you cannot have second website at the same domain. So if you have an existing website and you don't want to lose it, do not do this. Get another domain. If you don't have a website and you want to use this, then you're fine. Okay. So second was cname app whitelabel.deal.ai. I'm gonna stop for a second and let me just add this actually. Need 1 second. Don't follow what I'm doing. I'm just deleting some old records to add a new one. So just give me a second. I'm getting the password. Okay. 21201. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna add this one. It's gonna send me another password. Okay. This is 385233. Okay, so I have a type record and I have a C name, which is app whitelabel.deal.ai. Okay, I'm gonna give everybody a chance to talk or message if you have anything. The chat is unblocked now. Any questions, guys? Corey, do you have are you confused or are you just want to confirm? So Colleen, your A would not let you use @ because that's already linked to another website. So that's what I was just talking about. Jim, again, same reason. If your Wix is not letting you accept @ because your existing domain is pointing to an existing website somewhere else. Can we have more? No, you cannot have more than one A type. Nick, okay, if you are on pledge, then your value will be different. Let me show you what it will be. 1 second. It will be whitelabel.ai elitesolutions.com only for pledge. Okay. No, Nick, that's not that one. It's this one, the one that I just mentioned in the chat. Mia, it's different for different domains. Somebody was able to see their domain for 75. So it depends what is the value of your domain out in the market. Stephen, that's if you want to point your main domain to white label. We are not doing that, okay? Don't worry about TTL, Paul. David, okay, guys, if you're pointing the IP address directly to white label, then your main domain will be linked with the white label. You do not want to do that. That's why I showed the setup that you should follow. Your main domain should take you to a page, and from page you have login button, which should take you to the login page. So the login page is subdomain, which for subdomain, it has to be whitelabel.deal.ai. For main domain, it should be your root URL, your root domain, okay, for your main page. Glenn, yes. Okay, can't see what the value is for pledge. This is for pledge. Solutions.com. I'm putting it again. Yeah, Anisa, that's fine. So if you bought the domain from AI Wizard, then it's fine. You can actually skip the rest of the part. Right. So Jim, so either if you want to replace the existing website, then you may want to follow this, but till the time your new website is ready, you would not want to point your domain to the new website. So if you want to do this exercise or you want to have a different domain for a different service, I would recommend get a new domain. Test, this is for pledge. Sorry, this is only for pledge. This is for pledge. Phil, I can't confirm that on the bootcamp. It has to be after the bootcamp. So John, if GoDaddy already has an A record set up as standard, you can edit that if it's not pointing to any website. Okay. David, that's exactly what I said already 2 to 3 times, which is if you point this IP address to your white label, then you're pointing your main domain to the white label login screen. You don't want to do that. You want to point your main domain to your page and your subdomain to white label, okay? Okay, Jim, that's a very personalized question. I will not be able to answer that on the call. It requires you and me having a conversation. So, no, Nick, that's not okay for pledge. For pledge, I just sent this one. This is what you should be using for pledge. Okay, I think most of you have set up. Also, let me check one more thing real quick. Just give me 1 second. So what we're going to do is, after this entire thing is over, like this session, this particular part for domain setup is over, I will create breakout rooms where you can go, which will give you like 15 to 20 minutes only in that breakout room as well, where you can share your screen, see, and you'll have Dave support you to set up whatever is not set up, okay? All right, so once this is done, this part is done, setup, which is giving you is that no, that yeah, Nick, that is okay for pledge. The A type is okay for pledge, correct? Okay. I'm stopping the chat once again. Corey, I said that it's only for CNAME. Okay. If I didn't, I'm sorry about that, but that value that I shared for white label was only for CNAME. Okay. All right. That's okay, Tangela. If you can't share the screen and if you still have a question, just explain it in the breakout room, okay? We will be able to help. We should be able to help. If not, then just join the 3:30 p.m. call, Monday to Friday. Tyra, you may have multiple T names. It doesn't really matter what already exists. These 2 records have to be there. A name pointing to that IP address, C name pointing to whitelabel.deal.ai or whitelabel.ai elitesolutions.com. Okay, Jaro, hold on. We'll open the breakout rooms. Wait for me. So now what we've done is, I'm stopping the chat, okay? What we've done so far is we've told GoDaddy or whatever your domain provider is that point these 2 values. If somebody goes to this website, like your domain, take them to a website which is available here. And if somebody types app.mydomain then take them here. Okay, that's what we've done. We've set this up at the external domain provider. Now we have to do the same settings internally as well, like similar settings internally as well. So what do we do for that? So we do this. Okay, I'm going to delete this and I'm going to do it from the beginning. So you go to your Deal.AI account and search for domains here. Okay, search for domains. Don't worry about what you see on the screen. If you see other domains, then it means you've added other domains. If you bought the domain from Deal.AI, you will see something like this, which has auto renew option. And if you're using this domain for this particular bootcamp, then you're good. You don't have to do anything else. If you're adding external domain, then click on add existing domain. Put your domain here. Click on add domain, okay? So what I just did, add existing domain in the domains app, my domain, and add domain, okay? It'll appear here like this. Now click on subdomains. Okay, subdomains, and click on add subdomain. And just type app and add. Okay. I'll repeat myself. Once again, I'll repeat the process. So add existing domain, put in your domain name, add domain. Okay. And then once this is added, click on subdomain, click on add subdomain, and type app, what you added at your external domain provider, and click on add. Okay.